What an incredible season it has been. 32 amazing content creators representing 8 elemental pantheons, clashing to determine who will be immortalized forever as a divine promo in Elestrals. While new to Elestrals, SunseedJess has shown she is a dominant force. Aligned with EARTH and Demeter, her Earth Nexus deck has been as steady and unwavering as Atlas himself. Across the Coliseum is DistantCoder, the Elestriad Season 1 champ, and one of the game's most decorated casters. Carried by the winds and his divine Aeolus, Coder is no stranger to the finals and looks to solidify himself in Elestrals history once again. If you enjoyed this season of the Elestriad, be sure to leave a like down below and check out the description below for the playlist to watch all of the awesome clashes. And if you have any feedback for future seasons of the Elestriad, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's hear from SunseedJess on what strategy she is bringing for the finals.
Hello and welcome to the Elestriad Championship Finals. Yeah, we're in the finals. We are playing against DistantCoder for the finals, and I'm bringing Earth Nexus. I guess this isn't very surprising, especially DistantCoder is on the Wind Pantheon. Now, Wind is really scary because it could be Heal, it could be Pantera, it could be, God knows, a water build. It could be a lot of different things. And it just means that, especially game 1, I want my deck to be as versatile as possible. Before I go into the list, I want to give a huge thanks to the Earth Pantheon for helping me kind of test and come up with this list. But we'll just get into it, because we're playing Rumagem. Rumagem is really good against Wind, although things like Solar can get over it. Exaltair, Nemasail, they can't hit over the Rumagem, and especially since there's so many different Wind builds that Coder could be on, Searching Equalinx is good against everything, so we want to play more copies of Equalinx. And then for the other searches, 3 copies of Astrabbit, 3 copies of Elechic. I did test Plucky. I tested Plucky. Plucky, admittedly, Plucky wasn't it, but I was originally testing Plucky because against Heal, having something that isn't cryoblastable was nice. Maybe this is going to come up to bite me, not playing the Plucky, but we'll see. And then for our Earth Elestrals, I'm playing 3 Equalinxes, 3 Mudlet this time, I'll explain that in a second, and 3 Viscerus. So on top of our Rumagems, we're playing 11 Earth Elestrals. I'm on 3 Mudlet this time instead of potential Eddie, just because, especially if I go against Heal, I want to avoid Cryoblast at all costs. So Viscerus is the only Earth Elestral that can be Cryoblasted. So I wanted to play Mudlet instead of Eddie just because of that. That's why I'm playing more Mudlets. And also Viscerus, Equalinx, always good cards. No more explanation needed there. 2 Demeter, 2 Fulloy Forests, Nexus Banks. Also, I'm going to start into the 3rd just in case. If I'm against like a potential Island of Aeolia build. Then for our Invokerins, 3 copies of Ambrosia, 1 copy of Earthquake, not Equalinx, 1 copy of Resting on Your Laurels, and 3 copies of Cryoblast. Wind Elestrals typically have small defense, that's why I'm playing Cryoblast. It's really good into Solar, unless Solar gets misenchanted with a Frost, but then Solar doesn't gain the effect, so can't get rid of Astrabbit, so it's fine if Coder decides to do that. But in general, Cryoblast is very good against all of your Eddies, especially if he ends up bringing Eddie, your Exaltairs, your Nemasails. So you just want to see Cryoblast. And then for my counter runes, I'm playing 2 Altar, 3 Shield, 3 PTA, 3 Gorgons. No Tsunami. I'm not respecting Tsunami that much with this deck list, which, again, that could come back to bite me. I'm siding it instead, but I like this deck list. I like this countering lineup because it covers every matchup. Tsunami is really bad against either a Heal list or like a Water Wind list. Yeah, not playing Tsunami just in case and just playing the always good counter runes seem like the best play. And then for our Spirit deck, we are playing 2 Flermine, 2 Leviathan, 5 Scepter, and a whole 11 Turretlas. 11 Turretlas does seem kind of low for Earth Nexus, but I'm always recycling them if I need them, and I can just expend other spirits for damage. 2 Flermine is a little bit greedy, but I think that 2's worth it because of how valuable Cryoblast is in the matchup. I think it's still worth it because I don't want to have to go for an early Ambrosia, especially against heal. I don't want to have to go for an early Ambrosia just to recycle that Flurmy. Then, side deck. We are playing 2 Arcolith and 2 Thunderstorm. The reason we're playing 5 Thunder Spirits. Arcolith, very good against heal. Thunderstorm, pretty much good against everything. Getting rid of a counter rune is very nice. Then we're playing 2 Dense Fogs and 1 Owloon. This is for potentially Hydrake or anything like that. Hydrake or Foamy, those are the 2. Void Forest for any Island Veolia builds, or potentially an Atlantis build if it's water. 2 copies of Eddy and 2 copies of Tsunami. These are just good against Hydrake or a very generic Wind Nexus list. 2 copies of Verdlith to go in alongside the Arcoliths against a kind of heal list, or the big one. If Coda decides to go game 1 Pantera and then switch into heal stall, I can side in Arcolith just as a just in case, because it still gives me an answer if there's a switch between decks inside, which I think is a cool counterplay. So that is 14 cards. What's the last side deck card, you ask? What could that last side deck card be? Third Rummagem! Against Heal Stall, Rummagem and Rummagem is actually amazing, so we're playing 3 Rummagem. But yeah, that is my deck list for this week of the Elestriad, or the championship round of the Elestriad. I'm really happy with the list, I'm really proud of it, and we'll see if I can have it. And if we don't have it this year, we've got it next year. Hopefully it doesn't come to that though. Let's see how it goes.
This is consistency if I've ever seen it. Those Rummagem could be crucial for Jess to find Equal Links and Viscerus, 2 key cards for the Earth Nexus deck, while the incredible side deck options of Arcolith and Verdlith could prove to be crucial. DistantCoder has been here once before and he shocked everybody with his incredible wind builds all season long. Let's find out what he's bringing for the finals.
What's up, my Nimbugs? It's your boy, Coder. As you can see, I just woke up. A little bit of a bad head. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I just woke up and I'm about to play against Jess. And, I'm not gonna lie, I'm going into this one with very, very, very low expectations. The reason why I'm going in with very low expectations is because I genuinely do not believe that the Wind deck, in any shape or form, is able to beat a well-prepared Earth player. And I think Jess is putting a lot of prep time into this, a lot of practice time. And she's a fantastic player, right? She was like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds competitor. She's a fantastic freaking opponent to be facing off against. And I don't know that I have a winning matchup. I legitimately believe that the matchup is like a 40-60 at best. And the reason why I say that is because the matchup is also like kind of luck based in the sense where whoever draws more back row in this matchup will tend to win. The only difference is that she has Equilinks to clear my back row. I only have Pigas to clear hers, and Equilinks is just a way better card overall to do that. So I believe that there is a chance that I can win if I get some amount of like lucky, but I think if we both play perfectly and both draw well, I think she comes out on top. Let me show you what I cooked up. I went into this one with the strategy that I would not care. As long as I don't care, everything will be okay. So I played the Pent lineup. I'm playing 3 Hydrake, a Twindra, and the Pantera. The reason why I'm playing these is just because I want Jess to think I'm on this for the entire match. I plan to only play this game 1 and side it out games 2 and 3 because I want her to potentially side in stuff like Dense Fogs and things that are really bad into the rest of my deck but are really good into these cards. So hopefully I can make her like side suboptimally. And then for the beaters, I am playing the 3 copies of the Sorlet because this card is really good. And then to round out the Wind toolbox, it's 2 Nemisail, a Galaxair, an Exaltair, and a P-Gust. This is my Wind toolbox stuff that I'm going to be planning to get with Aeolus. None of these cards are very good into Earth. The Galaxair doesn't clear enough things, which is why it's only here at 1, and I'm not playing Verituka at all, because with the amount of Nexusing that she's able to do, she can put too many spirits on her guys for me to be able to clear her stuff. And the reason why only 1 P-Gust is because the card is like super situational. Like, the only time I really want P-Gust is if she has Demeter up on the board, and if she has Demeter up on the board, like I can like Aeolus and go get it and stuff, but sometimes even that's not the correct play, because with Demeter up on the board with a guy, typically P-Gust can't walk over the guy, and I need to remove her guys. Then to round out the Elestrals, I'm playing 3 Astrabbit, 2 Eddy in the main. I'm siding into the 3rd Eddy because I think this card achieves kind of what Galaxair does, but better, because this beats over more things because it has a respectable stat line. The Galaxair having 3 attack is really, really not great. I kind of wish Galaxair lasted for like my turn and my opponent's turn, so Galaxair target itself was a more real play, but alas, that is not how the card works, so we can't do that. So I'm playing 3 Astrabbit, 2 Eddy just because they're generically good cards, siding into the 3rd Eddy post cutting the Hydrake because I think that card is really good into her deck, depending on what she's on. And if she's playing Wasp Ivy, this is one of the outs to Wasp Ivy. I am definitely terrified of Wasp Ivy. You'll notice in my side I also have Cryoblast specifically for that. I'm also playing 3 Aeolus and 2 Islands of Aeolia. The only reason I'm on the Aeolia is because she's also playing a deck with Stadium Rune. She's playing the Foliar Forest most likely. So this is just to try to win the Stadium Wars, because if any player establishes a Stadium and the opponent isn't able to remove it, whichever player has the Stadium is definitely going to be in the lead in that game for the most part. So I really think this card is genuinely just okay, but in a matchup where the opponent has Stadium Runes, it's a good card. Then off to the other runes, I'm playing obviously Earthquake, Resting, and Triple Ambrosia. I'm not gonna lie, I'm considering not playing the Earthquake. Well, I'm considering like I'll side it out. Like this is obviously the final list that I'm gonna play, but I'm considering like I have 2 spirits in my side to replace the 2 Earth with and cut this post side. And it's really going to be like vibes-based side decking if I don't feel like this card is super crazy, which can happen. Like sometimes I'm just like out of it and I'll just like, yeah, I'll remove the Earthquake. So there's a potential I just cut the Earthquake post side. I can definitely see myself doing that and put in stuff like Cryoblast and whatnot, depending on what she's playing. And then, like I said, counter runes are going to win the matchup. So I chose to max just 3, 3, and 3. Like I'm just maxing on the counters. She gets to play 15 if she wants to max. If she's come to the same conclusion that counter runes are what win the matchup here, like whoever sees the most wins, she can just choose to go 15 and also play the 3 altar. My deck, I was trying with altar. I didn't like it. I didn't think altar was that good because you're already like putting so many spirits on the Aeolus. Like you almost always have to enchant it for 5, which really kind of sucks because this deck ends up being so freaking expensive if you do that. So I chose not to play the altar. Maybe it'll bite me in the butt, maybe it won't. But I think that with 12 counter runes, I should see realistically 2 in my opening hand and then draw 1 every couple turns. So hopefully that'll work out. Spirits wise, I'm playing 3, 6, 9, and 12 wind. 12 wind. I'm playing 4 water. I'm playing 2 thunder, 2 earth. Obviously for the Earthquake, the Rabbits, this is for the Eddy and the Tsunami. And you'll see in my side deck, I'm siding a Frost Spirit and a 5th Water. Let me show you. Let's grab the side over here. I'm siding a 5th Water and a Frost. The Frost is for the Cryoblasts, and the Water is for Eddy Galaxies. I'm considering putting in Galaxy because Galaxy doesn't lose to Cryoblast, and I think she's going to be on it against my deck since every Wind guy has less than 2 defense. So if I cut the Pent stuff, I can side in these with the Water Spirits, and I either cut out a Wind to go down to 11, which remains legal, or I cut the Earthquake. I think if I want to put all these in, I cut Earthquake and I put in these 2 spirits over the Earth Spirits is most likely what I plan to do. So yeah. And then for the rest of the side, I'm just rounding out my Wind toolbox. So I'm playing the 3rd Nemesail should I feel like Jess is burning through my spirits very quickly or burning through her own and I can just like kind of out heal her. 2 Toxic Swarm, same logic. If I feel like she's burning through her spirits very quickly, I'll side these in. Otherwise, I don't know that this card would be that crazy. Same with the Exalted. This is the same logic for all of this. It all depends on how I feel like she's playing after game 1. I think game 1 is going to be there to gather a lot of information, and then games 2 and 3 is post side, you know, we'll work with it. Verituka goes in if she's by some means not playing like something with a lot of Nexus tools. Like if she's playing Toxic Swarm, I can not Toxic Swarm. If she's playing Wasp Ivy, I can maybe play this. And the second Galaxair is also there for Wasp Ivy because this beats Wasp Ivy. Because Wasp Ivy has one singular point of defense, so Galaxair beats over it because it swaps its stats. So that's the side deck. Again, not feeling super confident about this one, but hey, we made it to finals not feeling confident about any of the matches we went into. So here's hoping that we're able to clutch it out and maybe, just maybe, be the only 2-time Elestriad champion. Maybe. So we'll see. Good luck to you, Jess, and I'll see you all in the clash.
Penterror is coming for DistantCoder. What an insane throwback to Season 1, where DistantCoder won on the back of the 5-headed beast. Will history repeat itself? I don't know about y'all, but I'm really excited for this best of 3 clash. Let's find out who your Elestriad Season 3 champion will be once and for all. These two casters are locked and loaded, and DistantCoder is going to start us off with an expend to draw, adding to his resources for later, 1 back row rune set, and Jess is going to kick things off with an Equalinx. Equalinx can be the equalizer in this clash, as it immediately threatens a lot of the cards that DistantCoder wants to use, primarily his Aeolus. Foley Forest going to be the first play here from Jess. That does give her the Nexus opportunity with Equalinx to pop that face down rune. If you're Coder and you could find your own Island of Aeolia right now, that could actually be huge, because Gorgon's Gaze comes into play and will stop this Equalinx in its tracks. A really nice trade there for Coder. I think this is a great first turn for him, because he's able to burn the Foley Forest, he's able to leave this Equalinx out on its own, but is going to be dealing with 3 face down runes he's going to have to try to get through. And Coder highlighted in his pregame, he thinks this clash is going to come down to who finds their back row. SunseedJess certainly showing that she's got it all locked in. Here comes a Hydrake though. Coder pulling the Hydrake Penterror string early in this clash and revealing one of his key strategies. If Hydrake's able to crash into Equalinx, this could be massive. Jess opted to go with the Poison Tipped Arrow, which will drop the attack of Hydrake and force DistantCoder to attack into the Equalinx and most likely result in another counter rune from Jess. So I think if you're Coder, you actually aren't feeling too bad about this, because the PTA not gonna work. Oh wow, it connects. So here comes Twindra. So that was a completely wasted Poison Tipped Arrow, as now Twindra hits the field. Absolutely nuts. And Twindra gonna attack into the Equalinx, and a Shield of Achilles comes off, which will bounce the Twindra back to hand. So ultimately, SunseedJess does stop the Twindra and keep Equalinx to live another day, which could be really big because it can obviously threaten that back row rune. But I think we saw, in some ways, a wasted PTA. I guess in hindsight, maybe not, because the PTA results in you saving the Equalinx. So that might have been Jess's thought, right? You PTA the Hydrake, you prevent the Equalinx from crashing, you let the Twindra hit, and then you bounce that. Here comes Equalinx, no opportunity for that back row to be hit, so Coder's just going to be taking a few spirits of damage from Equalinx as Jess goes for the expend to draw to further enhance their strategies for the future. Coder's going to respond with a Nemisail here that will allow him to heal 2 spirits from his Underworld back to his spirit deck. A key piece for him. Nemisail's proven to be a really, really powerful card for Wind, which often uses a lot of spirits. To be able to use this Hydrake strategy, you need a lot of spirits. To be able to use Aeolus, you generally are going to use a lot of spirits. And here comes Island of Aeolia. This is a card that we talk about in this clash. These two casters utilizing their stadiums. Jess using her Foley Forest early this one. DistantCoder able to get out Island of Aeolia and match Nemisail to 4 attack. This is going to put pressure on Jess's back row. She's going to be forced to Gorgon's Gaze the Nemisail to prevent it from being able to attack the Equalinx. So a good order of operations there from Coder, being able to get the Nemisail heal off and then get the Island of Aeolia to force a Gorgon's Gaze. But here comes Mudlet, which will shift the Nemisail to defense position if it goes through, but Gorgon's Gaze will stop it. So a wise choice here from Coder to stop that, but you do leave yourself in a situation. Oh, you can't Nexus, but Altar of Stars can. So Gorgon's Gaze would have stopped the Mudlet from being able to receive, but because the Altar of Stars is going to layer alternately here, it does get this effect off and still can change the Nemisail to defense position. So good responsiveness there. Equalinx is going to be able to attack into the Nemisail. The Mudlet is not going to be able to attack this turn because of Gorgons, and a Tsunami is massive actually, and that shows that Coder's use of that that Altar of Stars play ends up getting wasted. So a really cool interaction there. The Gorgon's Altar and then the Tsunami. It looks like Coder's got a second Nemisail here. That's going to give him a lot of healing, and both these Nemisails have 4 attack, which means that if Coder's able to start hitting some big hits here, and if these attacks can connect, both Equalinx and Mudlet might just go down. What is the back row for SunseedJess? Let's find out. Coder's got to be feeling pretty good about his position here. If he can get through this back row, he's just got to get through one Elestral. Can he get through the Equalinx? That is going to be key. Jess has had counter runes all day long, and Shield of Achilles Gonna stop the first Nemisail. A less than ideal Shield of Achilles target, only on the sense that Nemisail's gonna heal back, and there's an Altar of Stars to prevent this from happening. Here comes the Nexus. We'll shift the Nemisail to defense position, and Coder, with no back row, is very exposed here. It's going to be an expend to draw for Jess, trying to find those resources. Equalinx is going to be able to attack and take out this this Island of Aeolia. Oh, no, I'm going to go for the Nexus. Get rid of the Island of Aeolia, rather. Equalinx and Mudlet shift position, and now Coder is going to lose his only Elestral on field and take some spirit damage here, but not before SunseedJess sets a face down rune to prepare for the upcoming turn. Coder forced to take 2 spirits of damage here. We've got a 6-7 clash right now. We know Coder's got a Twindra and a Nemisail in hand. The rune plays are going to be key here. He's going to find Sorlet, though. Sorlet's big because it does allow him to attack over both of these Elestrals. You have to go after the Mudlet, though, if you're Coder. As much as that Equalinx is a threat, you cannot allow to have your position changed. Does go for the attack, and it's going to be the Equalinx that goes down. So Coder says, you know what? I'm going to make you re-enchant that Mudlet if you want to get rid of my Sorlet. And a very unique situation, Sorlet and Mudlet staring each other down, but not for long because Cryoblast is here. And that one defensive Sorlet not going to be able to stand up against its Nexus form Mudlet. Here comes Elechick. That means Demeter is right around the corner. Coder shakes his head in disbelief. Does he have a Gorgon's Gaze to stop the search? I don't even think it would be worth it at this point in the clash. And now we're going to see Coder forced to take a lot of spirits of damage here. 2 from Mudlet and 1 from Elechick. Does he have an answer to the Mudlet, though? He took the 1. He's going to take the 2. Down to just 3 spirits left. Coder up against a wall here, facing down 2 Elestrals. Is he going to have an answer? Let's find out. He finds Nemisail again. Does he have another Island of Aeolia? That's going to be the question. This will get him 2 spirits back and keep him in this one. He's been able to use Nemisail very effectively in this clash, but this may just be too much. Going to go for the crash into the Mudlet, take a spirit of damage as a result, and now it is just the Elechick. Jess is in a great spot here. If she can find a second Elestral, let's find out. Reaching for an Earth Spear, going for an expend to draw. And an Ambrosia is huge. Listen, this is not over yet. Jess is about to get a lot of spirits, but Coder has this really unique situation where if he can stick a Hydrate Crash into Twindra and Jess isn't able to find a way over that, that could be big for Coder, but he actually doesn't even have enough spirits to do that anymore. So he's going to reveal his Tsunami, and he's going to scoop this one. Jess is up 1-0 already here in the finals. We're going to be heading to Game 2 as Coder looks to restructure his game plan and see if the wind will finally blow his way. SunseedJess is 1 game away from becoming your Elestriad champion against the Season 1 Elestriad champion. DistantCoder forced to mulligan here and then an expend to draw, so not finding the cards he wants. He's laughing. This may not be the situation he wants to be in. This is rough for DistantCoder. SunseedJess finds Astrabit turn 1, and this is looking real bad, but the Poison Zutero, very nice card to find there, getting rid of Astrabit right away, but the advantage that Jess gains by setting those 2 face down runes is very difficult to climb over. One thing I'm curious of is, did DistantCoder opt to keep the Hydrate strategy for this clash, or is he going to go a different route? We saw those Toxic Swarms and otherwise in his side deck. Here comes Astrabit of his own, potentially with a Tsunami to follow up, since he has it in attack position, able to look at the top 3 cards of his deck and add 1 to hand. Will set a couple back row, 3 back row himself, and then opt to attack and deal 1 spirit of chip damage. Not the ideal scenario, but a Tsunami could help him out here as Astrabit looks to protect him against the oncoming attack. It's going to be a Rummagem, which will most certainly search out either an Equalinx or a Demeter. So let's find out what Jess is going to grab here. I'm sorry, an Equalinx or a Viscerus rather, but the Gorgon's Gaze is going to shut that down. So that was Coder's plan all along. He had an answer, was not going to allow this Rummagem to get the search off, and that's key because you can prevent it from being able to find those key cards. Here comes a Foley Forest, which tells me a few things. One, it tells me that Jess does not want to lose her Rummagem here, but it also tells me that she might have an Altar of Stars to allow for a Nexus play. Here comes Sorlet. Sorlet could be really big right now, and it could force that Nexus out of SunseedJess. Let's find out if that's how it's going to be, but Sorlet can obviously change positions, and it's going to be a Water Enchanted Sorlet this time. going to try to dodge around a potential tsunami. Rabbit goes to defense, and here comes Sorlet attacking into the Rummagem. It's going to be that Altar of Stars exactly as we expected. Altar of Stars is going to be able to change the position of the Sorlet to prevent its attack, and the Foley Forest is going to move on to the Rummagem, costing Jess the Foley Forest, but saving the Rummagem, setting up for a potential play in this upcoming turn. It's going to be Mudlet, which can shift the position of the Astrabit to attack, and actually result in a board flip if Coder's face-down counter runes are not a response. Rabbit changes to attack position. Here comes Rummagem, bouldering towards the Sorlet, but it's going to get bounced back to Jess's hand. We got the Shield of Achilles saving DistantCoder, but he's down to just 9 spirits. Mudlet attacks into the Sorlet, presumably, and another Shield of Achilles from DistantCoder, burning through all of his spirits to try to maintain a field presence. And I would actually say that's pretty big, because now he has a few flexible options. He can re-enchant Rabbit. He's going to Ambrosia here to get right back in this one. But he can re-enchant Rabbit to find something. He can also try to get out something like a Nemisail to heal a little bit more. There's a few plays he can make. He's going to re-enchant the Astrabit, so the Ambrosia's big there. He finds some more potential counter runes, then he gets attacked for 3 spirits. Not out of this one yet, especially considering that Rummagem was not a really effective offensive option right now for Jess, and Mudlet's an effective offensive option, but not a very good setting up the board state option. So Elechick going to come out instead. That's going to allow the Demeter search and ensure that Jess can at least put some pressure on one of these Elestrals. Elechick can clear the Astrabit no problem with his 4 attack stat, and with Demeter's effect can clear the Sorlet. Most likely going to go into the Rabbit, and there is the Tsunami from DistantCoder. Tsunami's fallen out of preference for a lot of casters as of late because a lot of water cards are being utilized in the metagame like Eddy and Galaxy, but in a matchup like this where Jess has no water Elestrals, can be really advantageous. And here comes P-Gust or Bust. This is going to pressure that back row in an insane way, because if Coder has any sort of counter support himself, he could effectively really scare away a Demeter. Here comes a Resting on Your Laurels. Whoa, that's not a good play. He grabs the wrong card, reveals his Laurels, but he's going to grab Ambrosia instead. So, well, he just revealed one of his most powerful cards in his hand by accident, but obviously meant to play the Ambrosia there. The amount of times I've done that, too many. I grabbed the wrong card, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the one I wanted to play. Jess is going to take 2 spirits of damage here, and we are locked 9-9, but Coder with 3 Elestrals on the field is big. Here comes Rummagem. An interesting note about this Rummagem, while it can search out a Viscerus or an Equilinx, it's not, I think you're going to go Equilinx, not going to go Viscerus. It can search that out and set up for the Demeter play. You have to go after the P-Gust, otherwise the P-Gust threatens the Demeter. So Rummagem going to be forced to attack an P-Gust here, which, if you're Coder, not the end of the world, because your Sorlet beats the Rummagem the following turn. Let's see what Jess opts to do. Demeter Disenchant buffs up Rummagem to 5 attack until the end phase. It is going to attack into the P-Gust and take it out. A wise choice there. Coder draws for his turn. What does he find? It's going to be a second Sorlet. These Sorlets are putting on a ton of pressure with their 5 attack stat. This one properly enchanted. And here comes the attacks. Jess going to take a few spirits of damage here. And that Equilinx, not very useful when there's no back row on Coder's end. So it just ends up being an attacker alongside Demeter. There is the damage taken. SunseedJess going to grab a Mudlet. That will immediately shift the Sorlet to defense position, allowing the Mudlet to attack. But very few spirits left here. Jess going for the Ambrosia. Not pulling it off of the Demeter, but rather just grabbing it. That tells them that face down rune could also be an Altar of Stars, potentially looking to activate Mudlet's effect once again. Another back row. Here comes the Mudlet. It will indeed take out the Sorlet. Pigs can fly, but this muddy one today will be advantageous, at least in this situation. Coder with 8 spirits left in a powerful position, looking to expend to draw here. Has a lot of back row now, and Sorlet takes out the Mudlet. So no Altar of Stars. Astrabit will deal 1 spirit of damage, and Jess is gonna fire out this Equilinx. Here she goes. Equilinx ready to take down one of these back row, but there's 3 of them. How do you choose the right one? And will Jess opt to Nexus both? No, just 1 Nexus this time. Let's see what the back row is gonna be. Something like a Tsunami would be devastating to hit the Tsunami. It's gonna hit a Cryoblast. Not the end of the world if you're Coder. You're actually probably feeling okay about that. And there's an Ambrosia. So Jess is right back in this one now on the back of Equalinx and Demeter. Hanging in there. The question is, will Equalinx be able to take out the Astrabit? No! Shield of Achilles is huge! Shield is so big here because Coder with the advantage, he found all 3 shields in this one. Or maybe that was the last game. But he finds the shield here, he bounces it back, and now Aeolus of his own! This one might just be over! Aeolus means he gets Exaltair or Toxiswarm. Which one is he gonna grab? He has a Wind Spirit, he has the Nemisail rather, so looking to enhance his lead. Nemisail gives him a few extra spirits. He can deal 2 spirits of damage here with an attack, or 3 spirits of damage here with an attack rather, bringing Jess down to just 1. A wise choice there from Coder. Will attack for all 3. Jess has no counter rune play, down to 1 spirit. Let's see if she's able to flip this board here. This is a lot to deal with. Mudlet is the answer. That'll shift most likely the Sorlet to defense. A lot of piggy interaction in this clash. And it's going to be the Nemisail that gets shifted to defense and taken out. Coder, 4 spirits to Jess's 0. Here comes an Eddy. That is going to shift this Mudlet to defense if he wants it. Sorlet, Eddy, and Astrabit are all ready to rock. Eddy attacks. Maybe an opportunity for a potential Altar of Stars. We see the Altar happen. Jess able to manipulate this board to get that Sorlet changed to attack and the Eddy changed. But that's going to be a scoop right there. Coder takes this one. We've got ourselves a 1-1 tie going into our final clash of this best of 3. SunseedJess versus DistantCoder. The winner of this next clash takes it all. Jess kicks off this one here. The final clash of Elestriad Season 3. Deadlocked 1-1. Astrabit kicks it off as it does in many, many clashes. One of the strongest cards in the game. And gives Jess a nice advantage out the gates, but the perfect counter here. Eddy has arrived to the scene, shifting Astrabit to attack position and immediately putting Jess in the defensive, needing to utilize those counter runes, and a poison-tipped arrow is going to be the play here. If you're Coder, though, you don't hate this too much because at the very least, you can potentially force a trade. You shift the Astrabit to attack position, and then the Eddy can attack it. You can force a trade, making the poison-tipped arrow wasted, and it seems as though that's where we're at once again. So Jess using the poison-tipped arrow in both of these clashes in an interesting way, a wise way. At first thought, maybe not optimal, but then when you think about it, you're like, well, I guess it is optimal. You force the crash there, and you get rid of the Eddy one way or the other. So it all works out. Elechick, big piece here for Jess, able to get that Demeter. Coder is going to be taking a Spirit of damage here as well as he draws for his turn, trying to ensure that he can deal with this Elechick. And Sorlet has proven to be a very powerful ally for Aeolus and the Wind Pantheon in this clash. Its 5 attack stat allows it to plow through many threats like Elechick, and that's going to happen once again here. Coder with just 1 back row, though, going to be up against a potential Demeter play, but it's Cryoblast, freezing the pig once again and removing it from the field. Here comes Equalinx. This is the setup that Jess is looking for. Here comes Demeter. Does Coder have a Gorgon's Gaze once again to prevent this Equalinx from popping off? It's going to be 3 spirits on the Demeter. And here comes Jess, going to go for the Nexus play, most certainly, to target that back row. The question is, what does Coder have face down? Is it a Tsunami? That would be big. It's the Tsunami! The Tidal Wave hits. That's massive for DistantCoder. He needed that play. It needed to be a Gorgons or a Tsunami. If that was a shield, that would have been devastating. He's able to stop the Equalinx from attacking this turn, and resting on your laurels at the perfect time clears the Equalinx in big fashion. A massive play for DistantCoder, as now he has an opportunity to gain real powerful field advantage. Something like a Nemisail or a Toxiswarm could be big, but he's going to follow up with a 5 attack Sorlet and force Jess to have to use those Demeter plays to be able to attack over this. 1 counter rune for Coder could be crucial, but again, getting rid of that Equalinx was so big. Let's see if Jess is able to find a Viscerus or a second Equalinx. It is going to be a second Equalinx, my goodness! That back row is immediately threatened once again, as this Nexus play is going to be able to move a spirit from Demeter to Equalinx to target that back row, but it's Tsunami again! DistantCoder finding the Tsunamis he needs to play around this Equalinx that is so big. So big from DistantCoder. I can't even quantify how massive that is. A third Sorlet hits the field of the clash. He's got this one with a Water Spear, a Poison Tipped Arrow will slow this one down. But the other Sorlet stands strong. Let's see if Jess has another face down rune here to stop the Sorlet from beating the Equal Links. This could be one of the most impactful turns of this clash. Is it Altar of Stars? It's Gorgon's Gaze, so Gorgons will stop the Sorlet from attacking. 2 spirits from Jess to use that Gorgons and the expend for PTA, opting to not use the PTA in end phase rather. Instead, Mudlet gonna shift the position. Equal Links can Nexus. Oh wow, what a play. Both Sorlets shifted to defense, and Jess flips the field in big fashion. But I'll tell you what, if somehow Coder is still running Hydrake, he could pop off right now. It's gonna be Eddie instead. Eddie shifts Equal Links to defense. It will put on the pressure here and be able to take it down. 1 face down rune. Equal Links goes down. Mudlet sitting on 2 spirits to meter with 1. SunseedJess responds with a Rama Gem, being able to immediately search out another Elestral from her main deck. What Earth Elestral will she grab? Is it going to be a third Equal Links, or is it going to be Viscerous? It's going to be Viscerous. That beautiful tournament pack Viscerous, and there is now a timer on DistantCoder because you cannot allow that Viscerous to really ramp up here. Shield of Achilles will bounce back that Mudlet 2-hand and prevent it from doing any sort of work there. So Coder is able to save himself with his Eddie. Here comes Coder. He's got the Toxiswarm. That is going to burn SunseedJess down to just 4 spirits, and Eddie and Toxiswarm can beat out the Rama Gem and deal some damage. So let's see how this plays out here. It's going to be the Island of Aeolia. That's massive. That's going to immediately make Toxiswarm a 5 attacker. Eddie clears the Rama Gem, and Toxiswarm pierces for 1. 7 spirits for Coder. Jess with just 3 left. Does she have an Ambrosia? Let's find out. It's going to be Viscerous. Viscerous can immediately take out the Eddie and get another Viscerous to the field, and that's exactly what we're going to see here. But Jess going to be down to just 1 spirit after this play, which means Toxiswarm can re-enchant and win the game. And that's exactly it. Toxiswarm burns for 1. It attacks the Viscerous and crashes and takes out Viscerous. And DistantCoder is your Season 3 Elestriad champion. He runs it back from Season 1. He brings the Penterror deck and WIND once again. And I don't think anybody expected Aeolus and the WIND Pantheon to claim this one, but DistantCoder has done it. He is your champion. A big congratulations to SunseedJess for making it this far. DistantCoder, Aeolus, and the WIND Pantheon claim victory once again. And we'll have to see if DistantCoder is going to get a Divine Artifact this time around, since he already has a Divine Rune. Make sure you guys stay tuned for Elestriad Season 4 and my upcoming clash against DistantCoder, as I'm going to throw down against him for some fun as well, as he is your champion. Let us know in the comments section below if you have any feedback for future seasons, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks so much for watching. And a big shout out to all of our casters throughout the season, all of our creators, all of our editors, everybody who came together. This was an incredible effort. Y'all are amazing. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.